Code of conduct.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I put in extra work that just can't be found. I took the sword out the stone, wasn't a thing. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king. God made me punch in accurate numbers. My castle won't crumble. What I tackle will fumble. I've been a leader when they ain't see it, but now my feet up. According to me, royalty didn't end with King Tut. Crown on my head, clouds is at my legs. Big said sky is the limit. I look down on the ledge. I push the bar like I'm opening a cell. Hands in my cookie jar, you won't come out with a single nail. I need all of mine. The weight of my shoulders won't fit on a scale. What's a king to a giant? Well, Goliath fell. Even if we playing chess, dog, this king can't be checked. I make all my moves on the board. I invented my steps. I'm a king, the blood of a ruler. I feel like Mansa Musa. Make your squad disappear like landing by the Bermuda. Triangle, look at it from my angle. I'm a king, the closest thing to being one of God's angels. I'm a king. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I put in extra work that just can't be found. I took the sword out the stone, wasn't a thing. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is the Code of Conduct with the King podcast. This is your host, JSpenceTheKing, and I am back with a banger of an episode. Y'all already know I got my man Real Mike Rob joining me tonight. It's going down. It's going down. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm not going to waste y'all time because I'm excited to talk to Mike. I know y'all excited to hear from Mike. So I'm going to just get right into it. Before I bring Mike in, there's a couple things I want to address. First of all, did my quarterback not look freaking surgical out there? My man was out there looking like he looked like he was ready for surgery. For real talk, he could do open heart surgery the way he was so precise with that ball. The precision that. Let me look at the stats. 20 of 26 for 194 yards and 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And to be honest with you, a couple of those incompletions, you know, I feel like one of them was just like he was in the pocket too long and he was like, I don't feel like getting touched. Let me just throw it into the ground. Then another one was just like, I just feel like if Josh wanted to, he could have just did whatever he felt like doing, which we saw on that 3rd and 20 play when he threw the ball on a rope to my man Gabriel Davis for a touchdown. Like it was 3rd and 20. Like, are you kidding me? 3rd and 20. Most teams like, all right, hand it to the back, the running back. We just gonna go ahead and kick a field goal here. Josh was like, man, come on, let me flex. Let me show y'all what it is. Shout out to my man Josh Allen, the real MVP this season. You know what I'm saying? Like this year, I told y'all I was humble last year, and I told you going into this season, it was gonna be a little different. We got the new looks, we got the new intro music, we got the new graphics and all that stuff. So I'm gonna just tell y'all, I'm not as humble this year. This is the new Spence. Get used to it. Josh for MVP. Let's start the campaign right now before week 1. Let's not like F the games. Forget the games. My man Josh Allen is MVP this year. Is going down. He's gonna have the type of season that Bills fans have been dreaming about for years. Like last season, if we were to say last season wasn't the season that we've been dreaming about, it's gonna be even better than that. So quote me, retweet me, come at me, come for me, whatever you want to do. If you don't agree, that's fine. Argue with yourself. Because I'm going to tell you right now, my man Josh Allen is doing it this year. But I'm going to keep it going. I'm going to keep it moving. I got my sister joining me real quick. Before I bring Mike in, I'm starting a new segment this year where I want to talk about a lot of stuff that's going on either around the league or in the Buffalo Bills locker room. And the title of this segment is going to be called The King's Tea with T. So I want to welcome not everybody. I want to welcome my sister and introduce her to some and you know, because really there's no introduction needed from my sister. My homegirl T Estelle from Built in Buffalo. What's going on, T?
What's up? How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm good. I'm loving life. After Saturday, I'm loving life. My man Josh is out there just wheeling and dealing.
Doing whatever he wanted to do.
And it was almost like he was like, look, y'all gonna let me do this because I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah. You're not even that. The numbers that he had, he played up until the second half, right?
Yep.
The numbers that he had, though, those were like his first year numbers.
For the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. You add 2 interceptions to that and maybe 100 or maybe 60 rushing yards. And that was a full game for Josh Allen his rookie year.
How improved is this guy?
And then on top of it, you're talking about it being his numbers, but the accuracy numbers don't. You know what I mean? He was 20 for 26. His rookie year, that would have been maybe 15 for 32.
Yep.
This is what we living with. So did you get a chance to go to the game?
I did not. I was going to, then I was like, it was too hot. And then I had a baby shower to go to, but I watched the first 2 quarters at home. And then at halftime, I went to the baby shower and I watched the rest of it over there that I could watch. So yeah, I've seen some of the stuff though. The first 2 quarters I seen, the most important quarters I seen.
Yeah. Well, it was hot yesterday too, actually, or Saturday from what I hear. So I saw one of the replays from the Gabriel Davis touchdown. He actually, he did like the McGregor, like the walk thing, and the 4K, or it was the 8K camera that we got to see. His arms were sweaty though, so I could tell how hot it was. Yeah. What, just from before we get into the T with T, from your perspective, looking at that game and looking at that, what was your takeaway from the offense? You know, do you feel more confident than last year? Are you kind of thinking that? Because I'm hearing around certain circles that we feel like Josh Allen might take a step back, even not a huge step back, not necessarily in a negative manner, but that he might take a step back. What's your takeaway?
I was saying that because of the run game, that if he does take a step back, it's because the run game became effective in this offense. But the offense really looked good. I mean, they held their own. They gave him time to, check down his progressions. He really looked good. It seemed like he had some time in there. I mean, there was a busted play, the one play where he just sat down and got sacked. But other than that, I think they played well together. And again, they haven't played well. That unit hasn't played well. I mean, haven't played together, no snap. So, I mean, I think that those 5, those guys up there, it's nothing. It's just going to, I said I did a podcast and I said by game 6, these guys, and I may be saying game 5 or even 4, but game 6, that offensive line is going to be all right. It's going to be good. They're going to be clicking.
Personally, I think going into the season, they're fine. I really do.
Okay.
Seeing what I saw Saturday, the things that impressed me, they were able to, and I know it was backups too, so I understand it wasn't the Green Bay starting defensive line, but they were able to get a push. So on those plays where normally it would seem like Devin or Zach would only get like a yard or 2 on something, they were getting 4 and getting 5. And so what that shows me is that the offensive line made it a point to say, no, we're going to pick these yards up. And if those guys are doing that during the season, I'm with it. The defensive line impressed me. Okay. So the length and the speed that we're seeing out of our rookies, as well as, AJ Epinesa looks good. He looks
does.
Good.
He really does. That weight he took off, he looks he looks slim and quick.
He does look quick. He does. And I was low on AJ. So, I was the guy saying like, he going to get cut. So I was absolutely seeing what I see now. I was wrong. And I'm man enough to come out and be like, nah, AJ stepped his game up. Ain't no way he's going nowhere. I think F.A. Obata sticks.
Okay. Cause everybody's saying he's on a bubble.
I don't know how. So let me ask you then, because from what it looks like, Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott want speed and length on the defensive line to disrupt the passing lanes and also to get to the quarterback. When Greg Rousseau goes out, F.A. Obata isn't the same as Greg, but he has a lot of the same characteristics.
His wingspan, yes.
So if he's on the bubble and you cut him, you're going. So really, teams will take advantage of that weakness if now the length is gone when Greg goes out for a breather. So I don't quite see it the same way. I see it as the other guys on the line. Who do you so your perspective, do you think it's FA? Who do you think it's
I don't think it's FA. I mean, I don't really do 53 who stays, who goes, because I don't think I'm well equipped to say who's going, who's leaving. Right. So I'm in this mindset of, listen, I think we need a change in our defense. And if that length is there, then you stay there. I think Sean and Beane went out of their way to make a different team, a different look for the defense. So I think now it's, like you said, it's speed and length. And last year it wasn't that. It was more bulky, you know what I'm saying? But this year I think they wanted this, and I think they got what they want. And once, man, that defense yesterday, Yeah, I was really surprised. I was really surprised. And even though, like you said, it was backups, but it's still, I think they needed a burn. Like Leslie Frazier said in his presser, he said he wanted those guys to shake off some rust, and they shook some rust off.
And I'll tell you what, Brandon Beane said on the broadcast, I know you watched the first half, you said, so when Brandon Beane was on, Brandon Beane talked a lot about just how the defensive line at the moment is a strength. So whereas last season, it wasn't necessarily looked at as a strength, but going into the season, they fully expect the defensive line to be like, it's one of the strengths of the team. So, you know, I just can't see F.A. Obata. And shout out to F.A.'s mom naming him F.A. I mean, I know my nickname is Hefe, so it's not the same. Like, it's his actual name. But I just want to shout out Mrs. Obata for that, because it's a plug for me to be like F.A. and Hefe on the ones
That's
and twos.
What's up, right? you got to have them on.
You know what? I'm gonna hit F.A. up. I gotta have him on for that. So I'm gonna do a whole intro. F.A. and Hefe on the ones and twos. I don't know why I keep saying ones and twos. Like,
it's okay. You old school. That's all.
I am. I'm old school as hell. But yo, so this segment is called the King's Tea with T. And last week there was a couple fines that went out, and Cole Beasley and Isaiah McKenzie both got fined for I don't want to say refusing to follow league protocols or anything like that, because I know that's how it's worded, but I more so want to say they were fined for improperly wearing face masks or the lack thereof at certain times when they were in the building or on the sidelines.
Right.
A few weeks back, we know that our starting left tackle, Dion, had contracted the virus. He wasn't doing well. Like, he came out and said that there were times where he thought, yo, I might not make it through this.
Right.
So now you fast forward and we see our guys getting fined for this. And Isaiah McKenzie then turned around. Now he's posting a picture. He's like, look, I got this. I got my vaccine.
Right.
So he got his first shot. What is your take on this? Like, so this is the T. We're going to be talking about the distraction in the locker room as far as the COVID situation, as far as vaccination. So what's your take on the way this whole thing is playing out?
Well, I think I read or heard that they were lead officials in the building. So if you knew that there were lead officials in the building, why wouldn't you do your best to have that mask on? And I'm pretty sure they provide masks all over the building. So, and you, like, I don't have one side of the COVID thing because I am vaccinated, but I still have an open mind. But you are out here going against what the policies are. You're putting a mark on your back. You're putting a mark on the team's back. Sean is annoyed. You could tell in his presser. He was annoyed. I've never seen, like, I don't personally know this guy, this coach, but you can tell body language, the way he looked. He is annoyed. He's about winning W's. That is it. If I'm trying to get an advantage over a team, so if you being vaccinated is that advantage, I need for you to fall in line and be vaccinated.
That's a fact.
And you know what I mean? So I just think, and he, you know, he just seems like he's like no cutthroat. He's just like, listen, this is what it is. And I get it, because your window for a Super Bowl is so small. So we are saying this year we're trying to make the Super Bowl. This is our window. I need you to do everything in your power to be on the field. And if you're not being vaccinated, is hindering that. Listen, and I'm not saying cut them, because listen, fans would be tripping.
Man.
Cut them.
You talk about cutting the best or second best slot receiver in the league. Like, we're not talking about cutting. And then, so last week I actually tweeted out, because I saw a lot of people saying that, like, cut them. And I'm like, y'all got to chill. And the thing is, I don't care if it's the best player on the roster or the guy that probably won't make the roster. I think the decision that needs to be made is only regarding talent. So, like, if you're good enough to make the team, you make it. If you're not, you don't. I don't think COVID vaccinations or obviously health concerns should be a factor. Like, hey, if this guy has a torn ACL and he just can't do it, that's one thing. But when it comes to personal choice about what I put in or what I don't put into my body, I don't think that should be a factor. So, you know, just for the record, like, we really got to chill as a fan base. Yeah, we really got to chill. Like,
we're so passionate. That's, you know, we're so passionate. We have a good team now, and everybody's just on this high of if you're not going to do this, then get rid of them. Like, we can't be that way. Like, I mean, we got those fans that are that way, but I don't take none of that stuff personally because listen, this is not my team. This is not our team personally. But I mean, you know what I mean? We're not running, the team. But as fans, we just want to win. We just want to see them win. And whatever that is, if that's getting a vaccination, then get that vaccination, I guess.
ASAP. And I'm with you on the standpoint first, where it's like, I'm open-minded to people making personal decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But now when I'm coming about this football thing, like for me as a fan or even as a business person, if you're looking at Sean McDermott and then you look at the numbers around the league, teams are at like 94% to 100%, 92%. The Bills were still lower 80s, like 83, I think I saw. So when you look at that, it's like we very seriously could. We just saw before the preseason game, Cole Beasley, Isaiah McKenzie, I think Star. There was like I think there was a total of 4 or 5 players.
Vernon Butler.
So in that sense, during the season. So say it's week whatever. What week do we play the Chiefs? I can't remember off the top, but say whatever week that is, and then say Thursday, Cole Beasley and whoever is around a coach who tested positive for COVID. So now they have to do tracing and all that stuff. And now they have to be away from the team for 5 days. So now we don't have Cole Beasley against the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay.
Right.
So now it's like, okay, look, Cole, business-minded conversations here.
So I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you say that, and then I don't know if that's what they did. So Cole Beasley was around somebody who tested positive, right? And then he played on Saturday. Now, you think that was a point for them to do that because of because Sean does some things just like he just put in Trubisky for a play just to see if he was going to be ready whenever his number was called. So do you think they did that as a team, as an organization, say, listen, okay, put him in because I want people to see that if that does happen, he can still play. You know what I mean?
I mean, possibly. I think the thing with playing all the starters is I think they really wanted to have the starters get reps together before going into the season. But to your point, it very well could have been one of those things like, well, no, we don't need to, because they don't need to see Cole.
Right.
So it also could have been like, look, let's put the dude out there because y'all sleeping on my guy Cole Beasley. And looking at the stats, Saturday he had 4 for 52. So he's still doing those things.
Yeah.
And so we absolutely don't want to, would never cut Cole Beasley. So let's just let's just get that done. So, but look, T, thank you for doing this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a weekly thing. T is going to be joining me every Tuesday night for 10 minutes or whatever. And we're going to be talking about the drama around the league or the drama in the Bills locker room. So before you get out of here, T, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you? Because now you got a new home and you're doing big things for the season. Yeah.
Yes, I'm part of the Building Buffalo Network podcast over there. I'm on Thursdays. I drop Thursdays. I try to drop it at 4. If it doesn't happen at 4, it will drop. But I'm also live on Facebook on the network, the Building Buffalo Network. So you can catch me there. I'm also on Twitter as T Estelle or not your average podcast. So follow me. I'll follow you back.
Real quick, I know I said that was the last question, but when are y'all going to transition to the YouTube and all that other stuff? Because for instance, when I go live, I'm on Twitter. You'll see me on the Twitter timeline. You'll see me on Facebook. You'll see me on. When are you going to migrate to that, or is that in the works?
I just don't like to do all of that because I get nervous, and you already know. This is big for me because I do not like doing this. But you're pulling me out a little bit. So it's not in the works yet, but once it is, you'll be the first to know.
Well, just know I love you, and I push the people I love. So that's what I'm doing.
I know
me and you
are.
have had these talks. Yeah, I know we had these talks. And the thing is, I see that you're great in this space, and I see that you can be even greater. So I'm like, nah, T's part of the squad. We doing this.
Yeah, you definitely. I would have to thank Joe Miller for introducing me to you. Best thing ever that happened in my life. And once we talked, we just clicked. So it's great. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I say it all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm here. I'm in Buffalo Friday. So I need to make sure. I know I'm busy Fridays. I'm doing a couple events, but we got to get that cigar and beer or whiskey talk that we was talking about. So don't let me fly out without getting that cigar in.
Okay.
All right.
For sure.
So, ladies and gentlemen, my sister, my homegirl, Tia Estelle with the Built-in Buffalo Network. Now, I am ready to introduce my special guest for the evening. Let's get it.
Stack the money as high as it comes. Put some in mutual funds. Get your trust with the stocks and bonds. Building wealth for my sons. Gold bricks by the ton. Yeah. Equity, here we come. Ooh. Getting bread by the buns. Yeah. Power moves on the run. Ooh. This a different type of income. This a different type of income. This a different type of income. Yeah. Get the hundreds till we flip done. This a different type of income. This a different type of income. Ooh. This a different type of income. Yeah. Get your mind right and get some.
Exclusive.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all already know I've been talking about this for a few weeks now. I got the 2006 fourth round draft pick from the San Francisco 49ers, a Pro Bowler. I got the dude that's a Super Bowl champion with the Seattle Seahawks when they dismantled. Let's talk about dismantling the Denver Broncos, who was actually favored at the time, and then he retired off of that, rode into the sunset on top. And he's currently one of the most beloved Bills Mafia members in the media. He's an analyst on NFL Network. He's the man that my grandmother knows because he got a chance to kick it with Victor Newman on The Young and the Restless. Yeah. Joining me today is the very special guest, not the imposter, but the real Mike Robb. What's going on, man?
Man, what's going on, man? Glad to be on the show, big dog, man. What an entrance, man. I got to come on a little bit more, man. That's what's up.
Hey, anytime I have it bigger and better for you, man.
Yeah, man,
but First question I gotta ask you though, and this leads from my intro. You've been actually riding with the Bills and Bills Mafia before the Josh Allen MVP talk, before he developed into like a good, very good quarterback. What got you, what made you see the light from a Bills fan perspective? What made you say, no, I can ride with Bills Mafia because there's something special going on there?
Well, look, man. So first of all the people that know me, man, that follow what I do, there's a reason why I call myself Real Mike Robb, dog. I try not to look at things in a subjective way. I look at just the facts of the matter. I look at everything that's out there, and I come to a conclusion. And just seeing how Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott were building this organization. I've been a Sean McDermott fan for years. I like his demeanor. I like how he cares for players. I like how he listens to players. You know what I'm saying? And I thought he was a brilliant defensive coordinator, especially with the coverage side of things. I mean, dude, some of the things that this defense does in the red zone is pretty special, man, like with coverage. And that's not a sexy topic on mainstream, you know what I'm saying, football outlets, but like the real football heads truly understand what this man means to like red zone defense, man. And I don't want to get too football-y, but yeah, so that's how I look at the game. And when they drafted Josh Allen, I'm just like, damn, man, like this dude probably could run Lamar Jackson's offense and be okay, like run for 1,000 yards. You know what I'm saying? And be all good. But he could also run like the old school Jim Kelly or Warren Moon offense, run and shoot. He can touch any spot on the field. And I'm just like, I'm just looking at genetics, just looking at it from an arm talent standpoint. Just not another guy like him out there. Like people always talk to me about the LeBron James, Michael Jordan debate. I think Michael Jordan is the greatest winner to ever play basketball. He was. But you just got to look at facts, right? Like LeBron is so big, can jump. I mean,
yeah, you
got to give it to him. You know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at Josh Allen, man. You just can't take nothing from the guy. I just think he can play in any offense that a creative coordinator can give to him.
I actually had to take a couple weeks ago on a different show. I put out and I put it up on Twitter as like a little video post, but I basically compared Josh to LeBron, not in the sense of, because obviously LeBron now has 4 titles and he's taking teams to the promised land. Josh hasn't quite got there yet. We're going into year 4. He has time to do it. But from the perspective of the angle was, look, LeBron is like the perfect body for basketball. He's bigger than everybody. Yes. He's faster than everybody. He jumps higher than everybody. When he first came into the league, he couldn't shoot. that's why he lost his first championship. Really, he couldn't shoot the long ball. He ended up developing that. Josh couldn't really figure out the deep ball the second year. He worked on his arm and his release or whatever that he had going on. He worked on his footwork and his mechanics. But to your point, he's bigger than everybody. He could run pretty much the same type of offense Lamar does. But again, he has all of these different attributes that really, if you take a step back, it's like, yo, this dude's different. So
exactly, bro. Exactly.
Well, so to that, what you saying that, speaking of pre-MVP caliber Josh, I feel like in the national attention or the national spotlight, it was like Mel Kiper Jr. and you. and aside from that, it was a lot of hate. So I know you said you look at facts and you look at what Josh could bring to the table, but he didn't have it on film. So what made you comfortable sharing those takes on the network? Because I know you got backlash. I know you had to.
Oh, yeah, man. Like, and again, I love the city of Buffalo, too. I just like just a hardworking type of a city. You know what I'm saying? Like, I came up, I ain't going to say through through the ghetto or nothing like that, man, but I came up to a pretty hard area in Richmond, Virginia. And to me, that adversity builds character, and that character breeds hope in what you can do better for yourself, man. And I just think that the spirit of Buffalo, Josh, to me, just embodies that. And so I wasn't shy about it. You know what I'm saying? I think it was like 2.5 years ago. I might have, maybe almost 3, that I said something that Josh Allen was going to be like that. And again, when you watch the guy sit in the pocket and throw the football, man, it's just like he can hit any spot on the field. Like, people always ask me, Mike, I know you see some type of weak spot with the Bills, and I do. I really think they should be able to run the ball a little bit more. Yeah, but if you got a guy, why would you call a run with that quarterback? You know what I'm saying? Like, he can throw the 3-yard out, and you can let Stephon Diggs go do his thing. You can let Cole Beasley go do his thing. I mean, there's ways to supplement that run game, but I just know that the biggest hurdle is the Kansas Cities of the world. And, when you get into the Super Bowl, obviously, Tampa Bay and the heavyweights on the NFC, there's going to come a time in games where the Bills are going to have a lead, and that lead is going to have to be protected, and you got to do the smart thing, right? And the smart thing is going to be to run the football and milk time off the clock, because you just can't give Patrick Mahomes too many chances. You know what I'm saying? You just can't give Tom Brady too many chances. And that's what throwing the football so much late in the game, that's what it does to you. So I think being able to run the football, establishing that 4-minute offense, which I think Sean McDermott and the guys did, man, it's, they've been at the offensive line, man. They've been at the line of scrimmage. You can't win in this league without an offensive line in the secondary. And I just talked about how ill McDermott was with the secondary calls, you know what I'm saying, and Leslie Frazier as the defensive coordinator, and they've been working on the offensive line. So we'll see, man. To me, again, the arrow's pointing up, man. I got them right there at the championship game this year. I haven't made my predictions going forward from that. So that'll be a little bit later early in the season.
Well, so, I mean, to your point about the running game, though. So last year I got dragged in Buffalo, because obviously it was our first year having a quarterback like this. Yeah. Like, the offense didn't look like this for a long time. So now we can move it like that. So everybody was like, man, forget the run game. But my point was, look, it's going to get to a point where once you hit the playoffs, you're going to be playing against teams that, Josh won't be stopped, but they're going to find a way to slow him down. And what we saw, obviously, the AFC Championship, we had some injuries. Cole Beasley was playing on, I think a broken tibia or whatever. Yeah, something was wrong with him. Steph Diggs had a fractured rib cage or something like that. So we had a beat up offensive team. The running game just was not there. And to your point, the running game needs to improve. As a running back, man, I wanted to ask you about Devin Singletary, because last year, so he was benched in the AFC Championship game after dropping that pass. I believe it was in the third quarter or the second quarter. He was benched for the remainder of the game. Now, this preseason, he looked quick. He looks more decisive. He looks like the game is kind of slowing down for him, and he's figuring things out. What are your thoughts on Devin? And we can. I'm gonna follow up with a Zach Moss question after. But right now, like, what do you feel about Devin after seeing what we saw last year, and then this quick little glance that we got to see from preseason?
I like Motor, man. Devin Singletary, man. I called a couple Conference USA games. And where was it? What was the school? What was it? Not Florida Atlantic. Yeah, not Florida. Yeah, Florida Atlantic. Yeah, I called one of their games, and I mean, he's beloved down there, man. Mm-hmm. And so, first and foremost, the human being, man, he's a great dude. And obviously, I blocked for Frank Gore earlier in my career, early in both of our career, the Hall of Famer Frank Gore, the future Hall of Famer. And talking to Frank about it, man, Frank loved the kid, man. He said the kid soaks up information. He's a guy that doesn't make the same mistake twice, and he cares. So that's all you can want in a teammate. You know what I mean? I do think they need to get him the ball in space more. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him on jet sweeps and stuff like that a little bit more this year. At least that's what I would do. It's about getting the kid in space. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he can't run the ball between the tackles, but it's about getting the kid in space. I think he can have a Kamara type of effect on this offense. Again, I don't want people to go crazy, and I'm just comparing him to Alvin Kamara.
Right.
But an Alvin Kamara type effect. You can line him up outside. You can throw him the football. He's a matchup in the passing game, and I do think he's a little bit more powerful between the tackles than people give him credit for. I think Devin is just a product right now of the type of offense and just how good the quarterback is right now, man. I mean, the offense goes through Josh's arm, which is freaking K with me. You know what I'm saying? Right. But again, Bill Belichick always talks about situational football. When you have to run the ball, you got to be able to run the ball. And like my mentor and one of my old coaches, Joe Paterno, used to tell me all the time, Mike, there's so many factors that can go wrong when you throw the football. The offensive line has to block. I mean, all five of them, at least 4 or 5 of them have to win their blocks. You see what I'm saying? The receiver has to run it at the right route. The quarterback has to be feeling good. He has to have good grip on the ball. I mean, the pass has to be there. There's so many factors. And when you're running the football, you're like Larry Allen used to tell me, you're taking another man's will. That's all you're doing. You're just taking a guy, picking him up, moving him to the side, and letting the running back run. And to me, again, like you mentioned earlier, in the playoffs, late in games, that's vital. It's paramount that you be able to run the football. And I think Sean McDermott and Brian Daboll and the whole staff are starting to realize that.
Well, and I don't think so again, I don't want everybody to go crazy like you said. Don't go crazy. We're not comparing him to Alvin Kamara in the sense of like talent level and production level, but I don't think the Bills need him to be the production level of Alvin Kamara. We just need somebody that when the other team knows, okay, they about to run the clock out. We need him to still be able to pick up 4 yards, 5 yards of carry in those situations and continue to run the clock out as opposed to a 3 and out. So, you know, now just moving forward, the follow-up to that was about Zach. So Zach, his stock as far as trust and confidence, the team trusts him. They have confidence in him all day. But now in the preseason, he hasn't really appeared to have the same type of production that Devin does, but he had the ankle injury over the offseason. How do you see Zach? I love Zach. I think personally, I would like to see Zach featured more in like that RB1 role. But I think, to your point, I think Devin, if he gets in space, he's scary. So how do you view Zach Moss in this offense and going forward with the combination, what they can do for this offense and Josh Allen?
I look at it as a 1-2 punch. I really do. To me, and if I was in that running back room or if I was that running back coach, I'd be telling both of those guys, don't look at this as whoever gets the start is the number one guy. You guys are both number ones, right? Mm-hmm. There'll be some matchups where Devin is going to be the lead dog because maybe we're going against New England and we found a way to motion to get a high tower in coverage. And I know Devin can take his lunch every single day. So he'll be playing more this game. Or maybe you're playing Miami, who maybe got a little bit smaller linebackers and, you know, just the nature of their defense, you want to bang them a little bit. Well, Zach going to get a little bit more of the totem this week with a little bit of Matt Breda on the outside to be able to stretch it. I mean, there's just ways to use all of these guys, man. Again, because of the wide openness of the offense. Again, I tell people all the time, yeah, I could give you Patrick Mahomes as the top arm talent in this National Football League. I can give you that. But if he's 1A, Josh Allen's 1B. I mean, it just is. Now, again, I'm not saying don't be smart with the football and not run it when you have to. But it's just not a lot I'm not seeing this kid not be able to do. You know what I'm saying, on the football field. So and the teammates that I've spoken to, he has a great attitude. Because I ain't gonna lie, I thought, you know, I had you have opinions about guys. You see what I'm saying? I didn't know how Josh would be, coming into the National Football League, being a young kid, you know what I'm saying, not seeing much. But he one of them dudes. You feel me?
Yeah.
He one of them dudes from what I hear. So yeah, I would play for him.
Well, Josh, we're gonna get a little bit more into Josh, because we had an interaction on Twitter where I was like, "Yo, we're gonna act a fool on this show." And what Josh did Saturday in the preseason game, we're gonna talk about Josh. So, but before we get off the running backs, man, there's two more questions as far as the running backs I want to ask you, because the first thing is, as a fullback, and I know you blocked for some great guys. You mentioned Frank Gore, another one in Marshawn Lynch, who everybody in Buffalo loves. Obviously, we drafted him. So yeah, the beast. We'll talk about Marshawn too. But one of the questions I wanted to ask from that role, I think the casual fan, and I don't mean that in a negative sense, people who, if you hear that, but I don't think they value fullbacks the same way that.
Hell no, they don't value fullbacks, man. Keep it funky, man. They don't value fullbacks, dog. Like, I don't know, man. We do a lot of dirty work. We're like a moving fullback. I mean, for real. I mean, not a moving fullback. We're like a moving guard. Really, you have two guards, a center, and your fullback's like a moving guard. I did just as much pulling as James Carpenter did. You know what I'm saying? Our guard at the time. I mean, you don't get a lot of the appreciation in the media, but yet if you talk to your back, you talk to the running back that's running behind you. Oh yeah, he appreciate those little just sometimes getting the guy's arm, sometimes, or cutting the guy in space where, Beast Mode used to tell me all the time, or I used to tell him all the time, dude, if this dude is coming down at me, we used to say pop the clutch. That means slow down a little bit, because I'm about to chop this dude down, especially Brian Urlacher. He was like that all the time because he was just a big, tall dude. And I used to tell him, pop the clutch, slow it down. I'm going to chop him down. There's going to be some bodies. And then, that's what fullbacks do for you, man. And if you can catch out of the backfield like my man Juice up in San Francisco, man, you make yourself a very wealthy fullback, and you make yourself that much more valuable.
Well, so the Bills have Reggie Gilliam on the roster, and last year he made the roster as like I guess some people want to look at him like a hybrid tight end / fullback. This preseason, it looks like Sean McDermott and Brian Daboll kind of said, you know what, let's shift this a little bit. Let's see if we can get him involved. He got 2 rushing touchdowns this preseason. I don't know how well that's going to translate into the year. Like, I don't know if that's going to be a play that they call, but I think they should. Obviously, have you gotten a chance to kind of look at Reggie, or what are your thoughts on Reggie rounding out that running back room and adding some protection for Devin and Zach?
Yeah, man. So I only catch him on a lot of the run plays. I'm not gonna lie. When I'm watching especially in the preseason, when I'm watching the passing game, I'm really looking at Josh. I'm looking at mechanics. I'm looking at because I coach young football players, young quarterbacks here in Richmond, Virginia as well. So I mean, some of the things he does is he puts on a clinic from a quarterbacking standpoint. So that's a lot of the times I'm watching the passing game. But I think he's serviceable as a blocker. I'm not going to say he's going to sit here and move a bunch of guys and things like that. But a lot of times in this offense, especially because this offense has so much space in it because of the nature of the guys on the outside and the ability of the quarterback, you don't necessarily need a guy that's just moving guys out of the hole. And really the nature of the running backs as well. Devin can make people miss, so can Zach. And Zach's more of a bruiser, so more people are scared to tackle him. So to speak, and Matt is just a speedster on the outside. So I think he's serviceable. You're gonna need him when you got 2 and 3 tight end sets for later on in games. I think he's gonna be an asset in special teams as well. And if they can be giving him the ball in certain situations too, that's just something else the defense got to prepare for.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that now when you watch the Bills, you kind of pay attention to Josh's mechanics. So let's kind of dig into Josh a little bit, because that's my dude. I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
Baller, man.
So when we drafted Josh, and I'm still a Tyrod Taylor fan. I love Tyrod. So he was the quarterback when the Buffalo Bills made the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. However you want to look at that, because some people say, well, he didn't lead them to the playoffs. They needed whatever, right? He won 9 games that year. If the Bills didn't win 9 games, they wouldn't have been in a position for, the Bengals to win that game over the Ravens to send us there. So I look at it like
he was the quarterback y'all needed, man, at the time, right, man.
So Tyrod did that thing, and I was a fan of Tyrod. So when we drafted Josh, I wouldn't say I was disappointed, but I was underwhelmed because of the way the media covered him. It was like, oh, he's raw. He's not going to be this. And the Bills,
he was raw.
He was
raw. Josh was completing about 50% of his passes that first year. He was raw. If you had seen his college tape, he'd be like, damn, man. I mean, I can see it, but damn, man, like, he needs some work. But he put in the work.
Well, that was my problem, because I felt like as a Bills fan, we just suffered 2 decades, like literally 2 decades of having, subpar play. We had some great moments, but subpar play at the quarterback position. So I'm like, man, give me Lamar. He won the Heisman. Give me Lamar. That's what I wanted. True. Especially having Tyrod. I felt like having Tyrod, give me the mobile quarterback that's going to do the thing, right? I was wrong. Not with Lamar. He would have been great, but I was wrong to not be happy about Josh. So now you're looking at him and you're saying now he's putting on a clinic with these mechanics. What do you see differently from year 1 to now going into year 4 when you look at his mechanics and you look at the way he throws and the control of the offense? What do you see that makes it say, no, Bills fans, y'all, last year wasn't a fluke. This is going forward.
Well, I just don't see, and again, this may be a little bit more technical than you may want to hear for, but like, he used to overstride so much that overstriding would make him so inaccurate. When you overstride, it drops your elbow, and it would just make him so inaccurate. You see the ball sailing so many times, and you're like, damn, did he throw that ball like 20 feet over the guy's head? Like that was way off, but he was overstriding. And a friend of mine, Jordan Palmer, guy he's worked with in the offseason, you can say what you want to about Jordan, but Jordan works with the guys, man. He gets the most out of the guys, and it's really all about reps. I tell my life coach clients all the time, there's two ways to program this human organism we live in. It's through the first 5 to 7 years of your life, or through reps. 10,000 reps of something creates a habit. And what Josh did was he dedicated himself the last few off seasons and got as many reps of the correct mechanics in as he possibly could. And so, just like on that touchdown, that laser beam he threw to my man Davis. Yeah. Bro, did you see it? He stood in the pocket, quiet feet. He bounced kind of on the balls of his feet, and when he let it rip, he let it rip. He transferred the weight and the motion from the ground all the way through his hips, through the end of the arm. And it looked like he just placed it, like he just handed him the ball, and it just hit him right there in the face, man. It's crazy to have that type of arm talent. Again, that's why you see so many guys draft quarterbacks. They all want to Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers got crazy arm talent like that too, to Patrick Mahomes. And now you can say to Josh Allen.
I've always thought personally, and I'm sure NFL players like yourself would disagree here, but I always felt like, to me, Aaron is the GOAT. So, like, I know there's been a ton of quarterbacks, quarterback play. Like, I know he doesn't have the championships Brady has, and I know
you can't call somebody the GOAT with one championship, bro.
But see, and this is the debate I always get into. People talk about the championships, and I look at championships personally as a team accomplishment.
It is.
I don't look at it, but as a player, if the team around you, if the franchise or the franchise doesn't give you support. So if his defensive teammates weren't up to par, I can't put that on Aaron. But when I'm talking about just like me as a fan watching the quarterback play, I think the things that I've seen Aaron do consistently throughout his career has been phenomenal.
Let me tell you something. If that was the case, you paying oftentimes the quarterback eats up a large percentage of your cap. Mm-hmm. Unless you've been to Tom Brady, who say, look, man, give me my signing bonuses, pay me on the back end, do me something different. Let's build a team around me. Tom has never been the highest paid quarterback. Aaron has a few times. Mm-hmm. Just like my man Russell out in Seattle. I love him, but he's been the highest paid guy a few times. Why do you have to be that? There's so many ways you can get your bread. Drew Brees, he's been the highest paid guy before. They all got one Super Bowl.
Right.
Tom Brady, again, to me, man, this game is about winning championships, bro. If this game was about standing outside in some shorts and seeing who got the best arm, yeah, then I can give you that one. But that quarterback position, if the team is nice, the quarterback gonna be up for the MVP.
Right.
Quarterback gonna be up for the MVP. If they go win that Super Bowl, Eli was terrible most of the season. He got hot in the playoffs. He made a couple passes in the Super Bowl. Eli gonna win that MVP.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? So you get all of this, I don't know, all of this social capital, so to speak, being the quarterback, and when you win, but you don't want to be blamed for not getting the championships. And for real, when I look at Aaron Rodgers, he could have at least been in the Super Bowl last year if he would have scrambled on that third down. He could have walked. It was right there.
Yeah,
right there. So
and
what
I
do you
hear
want?
that debate.
Huh?
Well, I hear that debate. I'm not saying so, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not talking about when we're talking about the full thing, and you're talking about championships. I'll give you that. I'm talking about, so if I'm gonna take somebody, if I'm building a team, and you tell me grab one guy from their prime based on what they can do on the field, not talking about what they've done in their careers and what their teams have won. To me, I've always said, Aaron Rodgers is the dopest guy I've ever seen throw a football, throw it on the scramble, like throwing on a run like that to either side. I just feel like he's always been the guy that now I'm seeing Josh Allen be, and now that I'm seeing Patrick
I can agree with that. I can agree with that, and I would have totally agreed until 17 came through that thing, man. I mean, Josh Allen, bro, he's something different, man. And again, like I said, even when I watched him coming out of college, I wasn't too sure on him. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't know. But dude, legit, man. Dude, legit. Now he got to stay healthy, and he got to win the championships, in my opinion. He gonna just be right there at the cusp of super elite until he got to win the championships. Patrick Mahomes is showing I can go to a championship every single year.
You good? We're not on the network. We're not on the network. You good?
Every damn year. You feel me? Like Patrick showing everybody. I think he only lost like 6 or 7 games in his whole career starting over the last 4 years. Man, that's crazy, bro. It's crazy. So,
but see, I feel like that, and that's why Lamar is still like he's not elite. You know what I mean? Because I know the passing isn't like, so he doesn't have the same arm talent as Mahomes or Josh, but you can't deny that Lamar's a winner. Like, this dude hasn't missed the playoffs. He came in as a rookie. He has to develop as a passer, but he has to win. He has to win in the playoffs, and he has to win a championship.
See, to me, Lamar got to win now. Yeah, Lamar running out of time, and Lamar's running out of time, and so is Baltimore, because he's the only one of these kind of right before the super elite guys that his ammo, what he relies on, is the one thing that we all know diminishes with time.
Yeah.
And so to me, Lamar got like maybe a 7, 8 year window right now where he got to get his money. To him, I wouldn't take anything less than 42, 43 million a season. I mean, I got to get my money. You know what I'm saying? And if I was Baltimore, a good business move would say, okay, bro, well, I'm only going to sign you for like 3 years. We're going to go for these 3-year deals at a time.
Wow.
So I can make sure you right after these, because again, like, look, like I was a runner who played quarterback. To me, Michael Vick was more of a runner who can play quarterback. Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, those guys are scramblers. That's it. Like, these are movement guys. They could beat you with their legs, but they want to throw the ball, man.
Right.
Like, for me, I had to have a quarterback run within the first 10 plays of offense when I played quarterback, just so I could feel like I was a part of the game, bro. Ain't that some crazy shit, man? Like, I had to feel like I was into the game, and I feel like Lamar is like that too. It's like that right after he get a quarterback run, that's when he can start hitting the passes and stuff.
You see him turn on in a way. It's like once he kind of get a. And Josh, you know what? Josh actually said, sometimes I need a hit. Like, I need somebody to hit me, and then I wake up and the game is fun again. Or he said it differently. But I feel like a lot of guys who first instinct is like, I'm gonna use my legs on this. I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah,
so,
man.
So for you, because you played a little bit of quarterback, so when that happened, what made you get, or was it you guys switched to running back? What was it that made you say like, well, you know what? No, I need to be the quarterback. I got to get this thing for my team.
Oh, so I've always played quarterback, man. Like all through growing up, I was a player of the year in the state of Virginia at quarterback, player, Big Ten player of the year, Heisman finalist, all that quarterback. My deal was I was about 10 years too early. See, my last year of college, there were the 4 BCS winners were all runners. Myself, Vince Young. DJ Shockley wasn't a runner. He was a scrambler. DJ Shockley out in Georgia and Pat White in West Virginia. Really, Vince Young was the only one to really. Oh, and Troy Smith, and from Ohio State. Vince Young really was the only one to truly get drafted, where he should have been and got a chance to play the quarterback position. I mean, Troy did too. He won a few games, but it just wasn't a fad back then.
Right.
It just wasn't. I mean, I took some snaps. I was always the team's third quarterback, so you never had to carry more than 2 quarterbacks because I was always the emergency guy. You know what I mean? So that added value. You know what I'm saying? But when I got to the league, they basically said, "Oh no, you're playing running back." And then after like my 3rd year, we got Mike Martz, who was the guy who did the offense coordinator and head coach during the Greatest Show on Turf with Isaac Bruce and those guys. He pretty much not invented offense, but he invented a way of interpreting a certain offense. And he moved me to fullback. And then when I got to Seattle, I stayed at fullback and gained a bunch of weight. Yeah.
Well, you did your thing. But I was going to ask you about that because I noticed in 04 is because the way it's worded on a lot of the things that I looked up when I was preparing for this was like, you got drafted and they just immediately switched you to running back. And it was just like, okay, they did.
No, they did. Like, don't get me wrong. My first number in preseason was 35. I ain't have no quarterback number. You know what I'm saying? It was
like over. You were running back.
Yeah, so, but it was weird because you got to think, bro. When I first put on pads for the Niners to block a linebacker on pass protection, I ain't never did that shit before.
Right.
Ever, bro. When I had to play running back in college, Joe Paterno would tell me that on Thursday, and I would find out from him on his radio show, like, oh yeah, I guess I'm playing running back this week. But I would always practice at quarterback, and then I would just get back there and kind of do my running back thing. I never practiced that running back. I practiced a little bit at receiver, but that was it. And so blocking a NFL linebacker, I couldn't even fathom that for real.
Yeah. Well, so my question to you about that is because I know a lot of times we take out the mental health and emotional health aspect of things. And a lot of times when we look at NFL players, it's like we just think that y'all are just the strongest in every aspect. Now, you may have been, but did that bother you mentally or emotionally at all from like, okay, well, no, I'm a quarterback and y'all basically. Now, I know you made it to the NFL. A lot of fans are like, he's in the NFL. So what? He's taking a check that we would never get. But your dream was probably your whole life playing quarterback in the NFL for a franchise. When you went to the NFL, but when the dream of quarterback wasn't realized, did that kind of almost derail anything? Did it make you I'm asking this because I'm going to lead into I noticed that you had an initiative with the NFL regarding the mental health and all that stuff. So
I look at stuff differently, bro. I've always have. I look at things like I'm a big spades player. I like to play spades, and I know when you playing spades, bro, you cannot help. After that card is dealt, after those cards are dealt, and you pick up that hand and look, you can't help but what the hell those cards are. You gotta play it. And so you had what you said half right. My dream was to be in the National Football League, but I didn't see what position I was playing. I just knew I was there.
Gotcha.
And so when you get a team that's about to make a $3 million investment on you over 4 years, and you ain't never got paid to play football before in your life, and your mom was a single parent, and you grew up with you and your brother, and you ain't never had shit, you know what I'm saying? You like, wherever I need to play. What's up? I was just thankful that I had enough versatility to be able to last as long as I did, because most people don't go from the least physical position on the field to the most physical position on the field and actually stay and be good and make a Pro Bowl and all that type of stuff. So yeah, man, I always knew my versatility would make me valuable on game day, so to speak, meaning I was going to always be one of the 45 guys dressed. But I knew ultimately I was sacrificing the me for the we, because I knew I wanted to probably, or I possibly could have played quarterback and done something legit and whatever, and fill my pockets. But I'm not too sure if I would have gotten a Super Bowl if I didn't have the mentality that I have now. So, just one of those things you deal with.
That's a good way to look at it. I try to look at life like that. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but I try to. No, I mean, that's the truth. Because, the thing is, when you have dreams and goals of something and then like it don't work out the same way, it's like, well, wait, is this really what I? But if you look at it, like you said, you made it. It's truly a fraternity and it's a special place. Even though people get drafted every year, there's still a very small number of people who ever played in the NFL compared to people who haven't. So,
absolutely.
I applaud that, man. I applaud that 100%. But talk to me a little bit about the mental health and wellness initiative that you were taking part of with the NFL, because I have something going on as well with the Crisis Center in Buffalo for people who are suffering from dependency on, alcohol abuse or substance abuse as well as depression. So I feel like it ties into what I'm doing. So I'm very interested to hear about, your experience with that and kind of where it's going.
Yeah, man. So, the NFL is a big company, man. Like, it's a lot of moving parts. We got a lot of partnerships. We do a lot of things, as you know, and there's a lot of people in the National Football League. They know I'm a spiritual type of a guy. I wouldn't say I'm a religious guy, but I'm very spiritual. I've been to Africa. I've been to a lot of temples and meditated and been with some great monks and not the Dalai Lama, but with great monks and stuff like that. And so I take spirituality very seriously. And to me, the mental health issue is really kind of like a derivative of somebody's spirituality. And to me, a spirituality is kind of linking themselves back to the divine, so to speak. Like, I believe the divine lives through all of us, and the divine is having just an individual experience with me and having an individual experience with you. You see what I'm saying? We're the divine having a conversation with each other. So that's how I've always looked at it. And people at the NFL always knew I've looked at that. So when we made this kind of partnership and got this deal to go where May was kind of mental health month, they like, Mike, dude, you got to talk about this, man, because I life coach people on this. And, to me, it's all about that self-image of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't be dependent on, or you wouldn't be having alcohol, or you wouldn't be doing the drug, or you wouldn't be taking the pill or whatever if you had the right vision or image of yourself. You see what I'm saying? And so my whole job is helping people get a better image of themselves, man, because for real, your reality is whatever you think of the most of, whatever you focus on. The reason why I made it to the National Football League is because I was able to, throughout the course of my life, along with the help of my friends and family and a little luck, I was able to focus on whether it's making the grade so I can play football, whether it was not going to this party so I can make the grade so I can play football, whether it was in college, whether it was staying out all night and possibly not going to class the next day or going, you know what I'm saying? All those decisions was me focusing on getting to the National Football League. To me, I had a 15-year meditation to get there. And I was able to see it. You see what I'm saying? And so when you help people get a better image of themselves, man, like they wouldn't want to do the drug. They wouldn't want to feel with the drug or with the alcohol or whatever gives to them, because they'll be feeling that themselves. And a friend of mine who's a monk, I'm not going to say his name on here, but written a few books or whatever. He's kind of taught me how to meditate and kind of go there, man. And so, yeah, mental health is a big deal. And I'm glad football players are finally talking about it. I think this generation is better than any generation that we've ever had as far as expressing stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I know some people think there's other agendas going on, and that's a whole nother conversation. But the fact that guys are expressing what's going on inside their heads, what they're thinking about, the emotional trauma that may have happened from slavery. Like I tell people all the time, man, I lost my dad for 14 years of my life due to marijuana, right? And now it's now I just walked through a factory yesterday in downtown Richmond where it's acres of marijuana. It's like now they're profiting off of it, but I lost 14 years with my dad from it, and I can't get that back. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. It's a lot there. But yeah, I kind of link that mental health piece with my spirituality, which is big in my life.
That's an annoying conversation. I mean, it's too much to have now because we're about to head out of here. But it's the truth, man. Like it really annoys me that we see, and I think Jay-Z said it on one of his songs. He's like, you know, it's legal in Colorado, yet we deny black people free enterprise. Yeah. So it's like people have built businesses. Granted, back in the day, it wasn't legal, but they've built businesses, successful businesses, and then you took their freedom, you took their livelihoods, took away family structures, and now because we are taxing it and it's legal, and there's a deep conversation, of course. Yep. But now you got everybody doing this stuff, and it's just like it's cool, and it's like, but wait, my cousin is still, my uncle is still, your dad lost 14 years. It's just an annoying conversation.
You can't get it back. You can't get it back. I can't get those years back. You know what I'm saying?
Time is a resource.
Is broken. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's one of those resources that you can't, like you said, you can't get it back. It's not a renewable resource. So yeah, sorry that I hate that conversation, man. I do. But good, finishing up on the mental health and just to pivot a little bit on that, my man said, take care of your mentals and your chicken. Like, you know, we got to take care of that stuff. Marshawn, he spoke to the younger generation in the NFL and gave some good words. What's some good, you know, I'm sure you've given plenty of fun stories and fun times with Marshawn. Can you just share, because obviously Bills fans love him. We drafted him. We wish that the team never sent him away. I know it was some stupid stuff that happened, you know, in downtown Buffalo, but man, Marshawn is a fun dude. Can you just share a fun story of your time with him coming over there after he left Buffalo? And because I know Bills fans will let us.
Yeah, I first met Money when we were actually playing the Bills at Buffalo. I was with the Niners, and he walked through the tunnel, and we chopped it up for a minute there. And then I was like, damn, man, that's that dude that went to Cal. I think it was his rookie year in 07. And then a couple years later, he's walking through the running back meeting room in Seattle with me and with teammates. I mean, probably one of my really good friends. I mean, I ain't gonna say my best friend right now, but we talk as much as any other good friends talk. You know what I'm saying? He's always there for me. My kids can call him. He picks up the phone. I mean, this dude is a international name now. I mean, Beast Mode is building villages in Africa. I mean, he got you know, people in other countries wearing his clothes and stuff like that. He's an international figure, and you know, he picks up the phone for my little girls and my boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's that good of a dude. When I was sick, my liver and my kidneys failed. The last year I was in Seattle, and then I was able to get back on the team when we won the Super Bowl. He was like the only guy to come by the hospital, come see me, stay with me, watch my kids one night. You know what I'm saying? Like, was there through the hard shit. I ain't talking about through when we went in and we going to the Super Bowl and we good. I'm talking about through me and the wifey close to divorce. You know, we going through shit. You know what I'm saying? He there.
That's real.
In the middle, not in the middle, but you get what I'm saying. He's there being somebody to talk to. And man, that's powerful, man. I can't say enough about the dude, man. I think he got into the league at a very young age. And like people say, I mean, like I tell people all the time, like you can't take people's environment out of them. You think giving them a bunch of money makes that part of themselves go away. That's all a guy knows. You know what I'm saying? He has to learn to do better. And I think Marshawn will be the first person to tell you he's had to learn to do better, and he has done better. And so I know the Buffalo fans wish stuff would have went better there. I'm glad he was with me in Seattle. I can tell you that much. But I think y'all just got the super young version of Beast Mode. You know what I'm saying? I think when he got to Seattle, you know, he kind of changed a little bit. He took off his Jordans and put on some, you know, some Stacey Adams. You know what I'm saying? Put on his grown man shoes a little bit and became a pro.
I love him, man. I wish that like you said, early in his career, I wish that people had the mind and the will to be more understanding of things they didn't understand. Because I think that's really what it comes down to. I don't think it's even about removing people from their environment or nothing like that. I think it comes down to a place where we have to be willing to understand and listen and try to understand people that we don't understand. Because, you know, from city to city, even within certain communities, it's still different from city to city. You know, in Buffalo, I guarantee you it's different in the hood in Buffalo than it is in the hood in Virginia. Like it's things that you got to learn. And I feel like Marshawn got the short end of the deal on that one, but he ended up winning the Super Bowl with you for, you know, and man, he's just one of those fun dudes. And, you know, I'll get him on the code of conduct soon, one of these days,
He
but
should be a Hall of Famer.
He's going to be. He should be, and he's going to be.
But you know, he didn't do the media. So, you know, if T.O., the number 2 wide receiver ever to play, took that long to get on because of his relationship with the media, do you really think they're going to give Beast Mode any passes? I mean, for real.
Let me ask you this, and then like I'll close out after this. The thing is about the voting with the Hall of Famers. I understand why previously it's been media voting. I get that completely. You don't think it's about time that we look at the process and make some adjustments to things? Because the thing is, I really don't feel that media interaction. I don't think I'm not a Hall of Famer based on how I talk to people. I'm a Hall of Famer based on what I put on film. Absolutely. And on film, Terrell Owens is a beast. And there's only one guy I've seen ever play the wide receiver position better than him.
Absolutely. And it should be that way. It should be a meritocracy. It should be about what I did on the field, but it's not. We're all human. Like I told big homie T.O., I don't write the rules. I'm just telling you what they are. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you know that's how it is, then you got to play the game. I go around, I speak to young people all the time, and even some of my life coaching clients, I'm like, you got to play the game, man. You got to get, if you want to be in the Hall of Fame one day, you want to do that. Yeah, you should have been basically auditioning for it the whole time. Whatever interview they need. Peyton Manning knew what the hell he was doing. Now, Peyton Manning was a great player on the field, but if you listen to any interview Peyton Manning ever gave, he gave you something. The media liked him. You know what I'm saying? So the minute he needed something from the media, which is the Hall of Fame votes, it happens. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got to play the game, man. I think Beast Mode's I don't know if I can't remember the last back other than Adrian Peterson. That 07 running back class was crazy. Maybe you can talk about Derrick Henry now and Alvin Kamara, what he's doing in New Orleans. But I don't know if you know if there's been another back to transform a whole city like Beast Mode, a whole city.
I would agree with you on that. And really, I think he's transformed not just cities like that, but I think he's transformed just the way of life for a lot of younger guys. They've really taken to what he's done and who he is. And I love Marshawn. I think he should have way more respect than he does. So, but bro, I'm not going, like I said, we 46 minutes in. I appreciate you spending this time with me, man. Like, and then obviously the talk that we had prior, I appreciate you for that. Look, anytime you ever want to talk to Bills Mafia, you have an open invitation on the code of conduct. You just hit me up and be like, bro, I want to talk to the Bills, and you come.
Perfect. On. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to get up to a game this season. And after the game, I'll jump on the show and tell you what my experience was, because I already know Bills Mafia gets it in, so I can't wait.
We're gonna do it, man. Real quick, you said that you haven't gone there. Can I sneak out a prediction for you from the season, or are you gonna wait to do that on the network?
So look, I usually wait. You know, I got to do it on the show I get paid for. You know what I'm saying? I can't let that stuff sneak out yet. But I do got the Bills going far, man. I do. Usually to make Super Bowl predictions, it takes me 2 or 3 weeks into the season, maybe 4, because I really think the first 4 weeks of the season, that's your real preseason, because nobody really plays their starters really, really hard in the preseason. So it takes about 4 or 5 weeks to get to know these teams. But I'll check back in with you during the season and let you know.
All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have the real Mike Robb joining me tonight on the Code of Conduct. Thank you so much, sir. Make sure y'all follow him on all the socials. Make sure y'all check him out on the NFL Network, because he's always big and up in our boys. So y'all know how I do it here. It's the Code of Conduct. It's your boy, Jay Spence. Take care of each other, love each other, and live in peace. And as always, stay positive, test negative. Go Bills.
Code of Conduct.